The problems that I've picked to go over are going to be on your paper, but I don't think that you can get enough. I don't think there's enough room on your piece of paper to write it all down. You obviously don't need to write out the whole problem. Just make a note on your sheet of paper where this problem came from. This problem is coming from which page? Page 212. And you probably should write down which number it is. And this one is what? Number 3. I know the problem is written there. You don't need to write the problem. But I don't think you're going to be able to write out all of the work for this problem in the space they provided, which is why I asked you to get a what? A sheet of paper. Okay? This is number 3 off of page 212. So you don't need to take the time to write out the whole paragraph of information. But you understand what I'm talking about? Yes. It says the 45 members of the Glee Club are trying to raise $6,000 so they can compete in the state championship. They already have $1,240. What inequality can you write to find the amount each member must raise on an average to meet the goal? Is each person going to raise the same amount on an average? No. On an average. So every person needs to raise the same amount. So we're going to take 45 and we're going to multiply it by some dollar amount. Because there's 45 members and I want to know how much each need to raise. Everybody with me that far? When you're writing inequalities, one of the easiest things to ask yourself is, can the amount be equal? So, I know that they still need to raise whatever 6,000 minus 1,240 is. Can it be equal to that amount? Yes, so whatever I do is going to have the extra little line underneath it. They'd have enough money if they raised exactly that amount. Could be equal. Could they raise less than that amount and still be able to go? So this has to be greater than or equal to this amount. Everybody understand how I've written the inequality? Question?
So you would do the measure how much they have to raise and is equal to?
Greater than or equal to?
Then you would do 6,000 minus
1,240, yes. So, since they asked me to write it, this is now written, and I'm going to solve it. I have 45x is greater than or equal to, when I subtract 6,000 and 1,240, I get 4,760. What would I do now to solve this inequality? By 45. If you do that division on a calculator, which is how I expect you to do it, 4,760 divided by 45. It's going to come out to this, 105.77, and it's actually repeating. In dollar amount, that means that each student is going to have to raise $105.78. It is going to have to round up. Because if they raise 77 cents, would they have enough? No, it's beginning to come up short. Okay? They asked me to write the equation, but we're not only going to write it, we're going to write it and solve it. We already solved it. 45x.
I heard you say right.
We're going to, every equation that we do, we're going to write it and solve it. The reason I put these inequalities afterwards is so that we had the ability to solve what we were writing. Makes no sense to write an inequality without the ability to solve it. So everybody got this copied? I go to the next example. Am I good? Okay. Now we're going to look at, I think it's same page, and I think this is number 4. So again, in your notes, not going to be room to put it on the sheet of paper, but in your notes you can write page 212, number 4. You won't have to write this out. It says Ella has $40 to spend at the state fair. Admission is $6, and each ride is $3. Write an inequality to find the greatest number of rides she can go on. So, $6, is that something she's going to pay once or something she's going to pay each time? Once. It's a $6 fee to get in. The $3 each ride is 3 times X. And what we're going to compare that to is what? We're going to compare that to her $40. Okay? Could she spend, or could it be equal to 40? Yes, she could spend up to 40. Can she spend more than 40? So this must be less than or equal to 40. Everybody with me? Understand where I got the inequality from? And now we're going to solve the inequality. I'm going to get this variable by itself. How do I get rid of the 6 that's out in front? Subtract it. I probably should have concluded. It's not sure. It automatically shuts off here. Is X completely by itself yet?
No.
What would I do? Divide by 3. It says X is less than or equal to, and if I divide that out, this is going to come up to 11.333 repeated. Now, let's talk about what it means in terms of this inequality in this problem. How many rides? What's the greatest number of rides you can ride? Yeah, it is 11 rides. Why can't she ride more than that? I mean, it says 11.3.
Because you can't ride half the ride.
Yeah, I can't ride a half or a third of a ride, can I? I can only ride what? A whole ride. Since X had to be less than or equal to 11, then I can only ride up to 11 rides. Anything that I ride less than 11 rides means that I'm coming home with more money in my pocket out of my $40. Are you with me? So again, not only are we going to take time to write the equation, but we're also going to take time to what? Solve it. Everybody good? Can I go to the next page? I heard wait from somebody. Am I good? Okay. I want you to turn to the back, very back, page 216. Turn all the way to the very back. Just flip it all, the whole packet all the way over. Page 216. And I want you to look at number 17. Here they're asking me to analyze the relationship. They want me to write greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to in this blank. It says K is no greater than 9. And when I'm doing this kind of problem, the first thing I ask myself is, can it be 9? Can it be equal? It says it is no greater. Is 9 greater than 9? No. So it can be equal. So I draw the line underneath. Then I ask myself, can it be more or can it be less? That's what I have to ask. Is it going to be more than 9? No, because it says no greater than. So it must be K is less than or equal to 9. Those 6 questions on the back are all done that way. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, could it be equal? That's the easy one. Then you've got to determine, is the K, the variable, going to get larger or is it going to get smaller? And if I thought of a number to put in for K, let's say I said 10, would 10 be greater than 9? 10 is greater than 9. I wouldn't want to use 10. So I might use 8. Is 8 greater than 9? No, so 8 is obviously less than or equal to 9. And you can pick a number if that helps you to decide which way to place the inequality. Questions? Everybody good? That's your assignment then. Remember that if it's asking you to write an inequality, you're not only going to write it, but you're also going to what? You're going to write and solve. The 6 of the questions that are on the back will not take you long.